Hey everyone, welcome to the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, Mario Heron, talking Charger football with you for the next 45 to 60 minutes. Again, a lot going on in the off season. It seems like, guys, every time we start one of these shows, we're doing a little bit of quarterback talk. Last week, of course, it was Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers. And now you find out again, quarterback talk, what's going on with the New England Patriots, as rumors have come out that Mac Jones has been on the block, that the Patriots are looking to upgrade their position or change the position out, and that Mac Jones is possibly done in New England. Does that surprise you guys?
Yeah, considering he made the Pro Bowl his rookie year. Who do you want Mac Jones to throw the ball to last season? Seriously, I know I'm an Alabama guy. I'm wearing the freaking shirt right now.
Nice.
Mac Jones had nobody to throw the ball to in the toughest division in the NFL, going against the Jets, who had a great defense. Dolphins had a solid defense, and you know what the Bills' defense is. What do you want him to do? You're going to quit on a guy that made the Pro Bowl as a rookie? Yeah, he hasn't been great the last 2 years. He wasn't lighting the world on fire. But who do you think you're going to find that's better? I don't think there's anybody out there right now that would replace Mac Jones and play better with the roster that they have currently.
I've never been a big Mac Jones fan. I thought he was, when we did our most overrated, I mentioned him before. I know he's a Bama guy. He got screwed this past year big time. Got Matt Patricia as offense coordinator, which isn't good. Like you said, didn't have a lot of weapons. But at the end of the day, I'm just not sold that he can perform and that he's that great of a QB. I think the Pro Bowl has become a anyone can have it moment where it's like the top guys aren't going to do it, aren't going to play. So when we look back on history, we're going to see Mac Jones with the Pro Bowl, Derek Carr with the Pro Bowl this past year. We're going to go, how the hell did this happen? This doesn't make any sense. And it's going to lose its value. It's going to lose its, achievement possibility, and honestly going to lose its value in determining if you're a Hall of Famer or not because of situations like this with Mac Jones. I'm not a believer in Mac Jones. I think they should shop him around. I think you should go ahead and dump him. I'm just not sold on him. When someone goes from 22 passing touchdowns to 14 the next year to a very much lower passing yards total in the year, almost down a full 1,000 passing yards from the first year to the second year, that's not a good sign. His QBR drops big time from 56.9 to 36.1 in his second year. I'm not sold on him at all. I wasn't sold on him in the beginning. Now in the NFL, to be a good QB, you got to be able to throw and you got to be mobile. Can he really do that? Did he look at Bama? Yes, he did. Look at that receiving core. You could stab me my left eye and break one of my arms, and I could probably get 200 passing yards still with those receivers. Like, that's just the bottom line of it. I'm not a Mac Jones fan. Never been a big Mac Jones fan. I think it's smart for the Patriots. I think why not just go, hey, let's just press a hard, quick reset real quick.
All right, we're going to start the show this way. You woke up this morning and chose hate? Is that the way you went?
I've been waiting for this.
Okay, I don't think you could be more wrong. I'm not saying Mac Jones is a Hall of Famer, but I'm going to say this. Mac Jones had no talent. As a matter of fact, he had the worst talent in the whole NFL. I can't name an NFL roster that was worse than the Patriots. He by far had the worst coach. His head coach is a defensive guy who never even thinks about offense, and then he stuck him with a defensive coordinator that was never coached offense. You gave the guy zero chance of having any success. Yeah, at Alabama, did he have better receivers? He had Jalen Waddle and he had Devontae Smith. He actually had great players, or Devontae Smith, sorry. And then you sit there and you look at what he has with the Patriots, and nobody can even name a Patriots receiver. What, Nelson Aguilar, who's not even on the team anymore? There was zero talent around him, as Josh said, in the toughest division. Here's my thing with Mac Jones and NFL quarterbacks. We did our tiers of NFL quarterbacks of guys we thought were good, top 10 caliber guys. To me, guys, he falls maybe 15 to 17, which isn't great. But at the same time, when you talk about what you need to have success and win championships, the Patriots are so far off from being one of those teams. The one thing Mac Jones does that's in a positive for me is he's extremely accurate, which is important. And two is he doesn't turn the ball over a ton when you give him a quality team. But man, you had zero roster. I'm not a Mac Jones apologist and saying because he's an Alabama guy. I'm not even going to pull the Alabama card. I'm just looking to see a guy that isn't the reason for your team losing. The reason the Patriots lost, in my opinion, is lack of talent. And maybe Bill Belichick has missed the boat. Maybe it's gone. Maybe everything at Bill Belichick's magic is out the door, and the great coach that he was, maybe the NFL changed too fast for Bill Belichick. And if I'm Mac Jones, I'm like, go ahead, shot me. Get me out of here. The first team I think of where Mac Jones should go is the Atlanta Falcons. Guarantee he's better than Ritter. And by the way, Mac Jones beat the crap out of Justin Fields in the national championship game.
Oh, shut up.
Ohio
Shut
State
up.
didn't have good wide receivers.
Shut
I'm
up.
sorry. Ohio State was loaded with wide receivers.
Compare the
Loaded.
defenses. Compare the
And
defenses.
Justin Fields couldn't dunk you at the county fair. Fair. Don't give me that crap. Mac Jones was better than him. It wasn't even close.
Oh, yeah. Quick rebuttal here before you go, Josh. Who had a better year last year, Fields or Mac Jones? And who had a worse roster? I would argue Fields.
You
I'd
think
argue
so?
Fields. It's a strong argument. It could be Fields. Very strong argument. A slot receiver being number one target is not ideal.
Who was the number one target for the Patriots?
Jacoby
Myers.
Yeah, and he's not even on the team.
Because we're in free agency, dude. That's
Yeah, my point is, if he was so damn good, they would have kept him. They let him walk off.
They also let a lot of good guys walk. That's
None
Bill.
of those guys were good guys.
He let JC Jackson walk.
None
What do
of
you
those guys were
mean?
good.
He let Brady walk.
Brady was 40 something, and JC Jackson obviously sucks.
What were you gonna say, Josh? What were you gonna say?
I just said Mac Jones falls into the rare situation that he gets worse talent when he goes to the NFL. Who did he throw to at Alabama? Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. Who are his running backs? Brian Robinson, Najee Harris, Damian Harris, the lead running back for the Patriots, was the only guy he had from
Who's now on the
Alabama that was any
Bills.
good on the. Yeah, he's not on the Bills, and he was the only guy that did anything along with Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, nobody throw the ball to. I'll give you the argument that the Bears might have been worse, but that's why they have the number one pick. Mac Jones was set up for failure from the beginning with Matt Patricia being his coach. I just don't like anything the Patriots do. It kind of reminds me of the situation right now in the NBA with Greg Popovich. He loses all those star players. Now look at the Spurs. They're one of the worst teams in the NBA. It's kind of the same thing with the Patriots. If Mac Jones leaves, I hope he finds success somewhere else. And I hope the Patriots fail, because you cannot continue to draft poorly and expect to win. And even when they were winning, they were drafting poorly. Besides a few great picks in Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez was good for a little bit, but besides Rob Gronkowski and a few other guys, they've been terrible at drafting, especially on the offensive side of the ball. It's actually amazing how good Tom Brady was with how bad they drafted in all those years he was quarterback there.
Okay, I agree with that. Where Bill's not the best drafter. Brady pushed hard from Moss. Like, there's little things that Bill wasn't the best at. I do believe that there's a strong argument you can say Bill's lost his fastball a little bit. It's not the most prominent figure in football as he used to be. But at the same time, Bailey Zappi came in and played pretty damn well. And there was a huge debate on if it should be Zappi or Jones. And there's many times this year where it was in New England and there was cheering for Zappi. I'm not saying that Zappi's a 10 times better than QB than Mac Jones. I'm not saying Mac Jones should have been benched. I'm saying is that there was another QB who had 1 year less of experience that did better with the talent that was there. Now, just thinking of that, not fall in love with the type of QB Mac Jones is right now and what is required to be in this league, to me, it just screams, why not move on in a very talented QB class? Why not move on? What are the trade-up possibilities? I don't think Mac Jones is worth the first round. I could think maybe you could pray to God and go to church on Easter and maybe he'll bless you with a second round pick somehow. I think you get a third out of him. I just think if you're going to move on from him, I don't think it's that bad of an idea with someone like Lamar Jackson possibly on the table. That would be a better, smarter play. And guess what? You have a QB that's up with the times right now. Get with the times. Let's not, wear baggy shorts now like it's 2004 when everyone's wearing 7-inch shorts now. Come on. Let's not freaking do that. Let's be with it. Let's kind of go with the league. And I'm sorry, but I don't think Mac Jones is the league. If he had better weapons, yes, he'll probably have a little bit better outcome. Yes, he needs a better offensive coordinator. And yes, he has a better one in O'Brien this year. But tell me if I'm wrong. This is also the guy that Bama was pissed off at. So it's like, how big of a
It
jump are you
is.
expected to make? Yeah. So it's, I don't know. In Boston too, which is not the most forgiving fan base, I would say, get him out of there. See you, buddy.
I think
Pack
it'd
up
be
the
good for
bags.
both sides to get him out. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, you don't want to bring a quarterback in that knows who's on the block. That means the organization doesn't approve of you. You aren't their first choice. They're looking for something else. They wouldn't have shopped him if they didn't think it wasn't okay for him to leave. I mean, when I look at other NFL teams and teams that I think would be better off with him, Atlanta's the first team that jumps to my mind just because it's a Southern team. And obviously he's from Florida, Josh, and then went to school at Alabama. Am I right on that? I mean, get him
Yep.
closer to home. Go ahead, get him indoors where weather's never going to be a factor like it is in New England. But you got to get him coaching and you got to give him talent. You got to do something. And New England this year, when you're picking that division, nobody's picking the Patriots number one to win that division. I don't know anyone who's picking the Patriots not to finish in last place in that division. I mean, that is an extremely tough division where every team you can make an argument has possibly gotten better except for the Bills, right? And the Patriots are garbage. The Jets are obviously going to be improved. Everyone's thinking that all of a sudden they're a Super Bowl team if they ever pull off this Aaron Rodgers trade. And the Miami Dolphins are a contender. So what does that do for Mac Jones? Is he just going to sit there and drown his career in New England? I don't think it's good for either one of those guys to be there, for Mac to be there or for the Patriots to keep him. I think it's time and a good idea to probably move him out and see what he can do and what kind of guy he is. Again, he might end up being a career backup quarterback. That's where you see him, right? He's a career backup. He's not a starter in the NFL.
No, Colt McCoy.
And for me, I kind of rank him in that 15 to 17 range as far as quarterbacks go. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think there's some teams where I'd say I would take Mac Jones over the guy they currently have.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think he's somewhere around the 20 range right now. So the next story is that Jalen Carter says he's not going to meet with teams that are outside of the top 10. I love this story. I love when guys make these bold, outrageous opinions. Like, first off, Jalen Carter is a good football player. He is not Will Anderson. If you're not that level of greatness that Will Anderson is, I know, once again, Alabama fan, Will Anderson's the best player in the draft. If you're not that great, dude, you meet with everybody. You just do it. It's the right thing to do. It shows maturity. It shows you're not an idiot. And him not meeting at the top 10, if I'm an NFL team, I say, I don't want a guy like this. I don't want an I guy in here, a guy that's just not smart enough to know what the right thing to do is. Do you guys agree with me?
You want me to go first, Dave?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. God, we're 0 for 2 to start the day. I disagree with you. I think he should talk to 10 or less teams for the sole reason of everything that has happened to Carter in like the past couple of months. Like, football aside, that's like pretty hard to go through mentally. So I think sitting him down in front of over 10 teams and just getting challenged mentally over and over again probably isn't the smartest thing if you're his agent or just in his crew. Be going like, this is probably not the best if he's getting interviewed and like just pressured by so many different people. If we can take it down a notch, let's take it down a notch. And not to mention, I completely agree with you. Will Anderson's the best player in this draft, like by freaking far. I'm in love with the guy. I mean, he's going to be an incredible football player. But Jalen Carter, we all know he's a top 5 talent. He's top 10. If he falls out of the top 10, that's a sin. So if I'm him and I'm his camp, if I'm his agent, I'm going, hey, I don't want you around a lot of people right now. I would prefer it if you just did like 5 interviews and we killed all 5 and you did a really great job. I'd rather have that than we're batting 30% going on 20,000 different interviews. There's more rumors about you because there's more interviews. I'd rather keep it small. Okay. Aim small, miss small. Like that's what I would be if I'm Jalen Carter. Like, this is the best way to keep you up, keep your head on straight, and to keep you going into the draft.
If you're an NFL team and you want to schedule an interview with them, what question are you going to ask? What's the question? Hey, what are the chances you're going to drag race again? I mean, what question are you asking this guy?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, honestly, if I'm an NFL team and I'm thinking of taking Carter, the only thing I'm looking at is I'm going to contact the Atlanta and Georgia police and I'm going to go, hey, what is the deal? What are the chances this guy even plays for us? Is he going to end up in prison? That's all I care about. When I draft this guy, is he available to my team? Because the chances of this guy doing this again aren't very good unless he's just the dumbest guy on the planet. He's not a good decision maker. But you know what this reminds me of? When guys like this fall, and as you said, Mario, he's a top 5 talent, probably number 1 overall would have been if he would have not gone crazy. And of course that horrific incident happened. He reminds me of when Warren Sapp, who's before your guys' time, who's a Hall of Famer and fell, I think, to number 7 to the Buccaneers. And everyone thought Warren Sapp was going high until right before the draft, when I think he got busted for testing positive for marijuana. And then Larry Tunsil, another bad decision making. Guess what? Larry Tunsil, highest paid left tackle in the league, and it's on his way to Canton, Ohio. I mean, so it's your idea to say, do I want to take a chance on a guy like Carter and go, man, if we pass on him because we're looking for the guy that's going to show up on Tuesdays at Children's Hospital, or are we going to sit there and say, we're going to draft the best football player on the board? So I don't know how many interviews I'm doing either. I know he's pissed off, but he's pissed off at the wrong people. He should be angry at himself, and his agent should be angry at him for costing him a ton of money. There's no question for me to ask if I'm an NFL team, because I've seen the tape. I know the guy's a dominating football player, but I need to talk to the authorities to go, is this guy going to be available to our organization before we give him millions and millions of dollars of first round money and see what's going to happen there. But there's nothing that guy could say to me in an interview that's going to win me over. Like I'm going to forget what happened. We all know it was a horrible situation in Georgia.
That's just one of my things. And I agree with you. Obviously, Mario, we disagree. But if you're mad at somebody when it's your fault, you should just be mad at yourself. I hate when people take out their anger on, I'm just not going to talk to other people. I just want to focus on myself. Dude, if you focus on yourself, you wouldn't be putting yourself in this situation. So don't try to make these outrageous statements like you're not going to talk to teams outside the top 10. Like I said, you should show some maturity and talk to other teams and prove that you're not an idiot. Okay. Because half the people at Georgia say, hey, he's a great guy. And then you see these reports that come out. Which one is it? Prove to us that you can handle the conversation. And if we're going to throw millions of dollars your way, are you going to make it work? Are you just going to be an idiot over and over and over again? I want to see that if I'm an NFL team. I agree. If he didn't get in trouble, he probably would be a top 3 pick. But right now, if I'm an NFL team,
he's supposed to go number 1. I mean, he was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft, according to all the boards, until the trade came down, right? That he was supposed to go number 1. All right, real quick, as far as he goes, because I don't want to jump off this right away. But with Jalen Carter, if he fell to the Chargers and they drafted him, would you be upset?
I wouldn't be upset. I'm actually a huge fan of taking the best player. Like when a guy drops that far, like Derwin James did a few years ago when the Chargers got him, I love that. If you can get a top talent that drops, you got to take that guy.
Dude, yeah. Dude, give me on a first flight to LA. I'd be ecstatic, dude. Are you kidding me? If Jalen Carter fell all the way to the Chargers, are you kidding me? I'd go get under Max Wing and let's ride. Let's go win the freaking ring. Like that I would go insane. I think if any team that gets him as he falls, besides off the field crap and everything's going through, that's a steal. That's a win. That's a win. You gotta roll the dice with that talent. Roll the dice. If he falls below 7, roll the freaking dice. Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer.
I could see the Titans taking him. Honestly, God, I could see the Titans grabbing him. There are a bunch of teams. Whoever gets him, if he clears everything by the law, they stole a player. Really, it's like having the number 1 overall pick. You stole a player. Now, here's the question I also have for you guys. Do you think Jalen Carter is aware? Has to be aware, is what I feel, that he's being followed right now? I mean, he's been followed 24/7 the second he leaves that house or apartment, wherever he's living, by NFL security. I know this is how it works out. When a team is interested in a guy, let's say, whoever wants Bryce Young or Stroud, any of these guys, their teams have their own private security following these guys around. Every single thing they do before draft day. That might be something that maybe NFL fans don't understand. It happens all the time. There's a kid that lives across the street from me, was a top baseball player in the nation a couple years ago. He wasn't aware that there were cars parked outside of his house. Every time he left to go to a fast food place or go to the beach, they followed him everywhere he went before the draft to make sure this guy was clean. You're going to be the face of an organization. They're going to follow you around. You think he's aware that he's been followed around?
I don't know. I mean, Odyssey did the same thing towards me when they were trying to figure out if they're going to give me a job or something. And it was weird, but we got over it together as a family. So I think he does have, because he's been at Georgia, I think he does have that feeling. I think he is aware because it's Georgia. Like, if you don't think Kirby Smart was doing a little bit of the same thing, if you don't think that whole state was doing a little bit of the same thing with him, yes, I think he's very much used to it. I think he's very much used to the process. When you go to a school like that, at that magnitude, where you're not a college team, you're a professional team, let's just be honest. Yes, I think he's well aware. It's just in terms of, are you going to buy into it? Are you going to realize the situation are you in, or are you going to throw a pity party? Just two different directions you want to take, and it's up to you.
Do you think every time a private security guy is following him, Josh, he looks at him at a red light and goes, "Let's go"? There's these guys.
Probably, dude. Not a great decision maker. All right.
Not a good decision maker.
No, not at all. So Cam Newton comes out and says that he's willing to back up a list of quarterbacks. I think it's 12 quarterbacks that he named, that he'd be willing to back these guys up. And it's, to me, it's the most random assortment of quarterbacks. I feel like he just picked these guys out of a hat almost, and it's like, I'll back this guy up. And I'll just read the list here.
Yeah, go through the teams.
Yeah.
Okay. He said Lamar Jackson. Okay, doesn't know what team he's going to be on. Josh Allen, Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson, Tua, Jalen, Malik Willis, who's not really even a starter, Sam Howell. Sam Howell was the one that I was like, I guess he just wants to take his job. And then Aaron Rodgers, who's not even on a team yet. I just don't. Cam Newton's one of those guys I've never really understood. Probably in the conversation as the best college football player that I've ever seen, but always was weird to me. The way he does that font on Instagram, anybody that follows Cam or seen Cam Newton on social media, he does everything in a weird font. Everything he does to me just always seems a little bit off. Do you guys feel like Cam Newton is just kind of all over the place?
Go ahead, Mario.
Dude, he keeps thinking he's Cam Newton in 2016. And hey, I would love to believe that too. I would love to believe I was half the player I was in 2017 playing whatever sport. But here's the reality, sweetheart. You're far from it. You're very far from it. You can barely throw the football 20 yards downfield. You don't stand on any leg to, like, the fact that he's a guy that got cut from the team that he was their superhero. He brought them back. He took them to a Super Bowl. The fact that he got cut and then he's going to come out with a list of teams going, well, if I were to play, I'd play for these teams. Dude, numbnuts. Who cares? Who the hell cares? No one wants you. No one wants you. I can sit here and give you a list of teams I would love to play for in the NFL. But here's the reality. No one's going to want me on their team. That's one thing with Cam Newton is, dude, you're listing all these things, acting like your phone's getting rang. No, the phone's not ringing. The phone's not ringing. Maybe to do a couple podcasts, then your phone's ringing. Maybe for a couple fashion shows, then your phone's ringing. But for the NFL, it is not ringing. Cam Newton went from one of my favorite people to watch the NFL and one of my favorite players to, honestly, a complete 180, just in terms of, dude, realize the stage you are at. Realize where you're at. Realize that your best days are gone. Realize that. And that's okay. You know, you're never going to be good as you once were. Like, that's fine. Close the book. That's my problem. It's like, dude, realize the stage that you're at, and that's going to be better for you and be better for the team that you're going to join. And that's my whole thing with Cam Newton.
All right, for me with Cam, I'm not a Cam fan at all. Okay, and it wasn't always one of those guys that just like Cam. Matter of fact, I thought Cam took more abuse at playing the quarterback position than a lot of guys, and I agree with the complaints when they say, man, he's taking hits where if it was Tom Brady, those are flags, you know. And maybe because Cam Newton's size, that people thought, well, he can take the hits, he can absorb all those hits. But for me, you know, Cam Newton did, you know, three things that bothered me. One is he went to Auburn. Can't stand Auburn. That's minor. That's just my problem. Two is, this is a big one. Okay, this is the biggest thing ever. And for me, as a sports fan, I want to believe that winning means everything to you, like it does to me. If I'm going to put 3 hours of my time every weekend, I'm going to think about the game on Sunday, like, you know, I shouldn't. Like, you know, I'm preparing for the game because I'm so into, is the team going to win this week? And getting to a Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl is everything. The play where I said I'm done with Cam Newton was in the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos. and there was a fumble and the ball's on the ground and he won't jump on the ball. He was too worried about getting hurt to jump on the ball. It was everything. It locked up the game. It was the Super Bowl. Panthers haven't been back since. Panthers have only been to 2 Super Bowls in their franchise history. It's embarrassing. As a sports fan, if I was a Carolina sports fan, I would never forgive him for that play. And for me, as a guy who watches the NFL, man, I'm not a fan. Third thing Cam Newton does, and this is just a me problem again, is I hate the fact that he spends $50,000 a week on his outfit. I think it's ridiculous that he walks in and has to have the camera on him. I always like the athletes that say, I'm going to wear the hoodie or the hat and go, like I'm dressed right now, actually, and just go screw it. Why would I throw $50,000 away times 17 every week when you know that when you're driving into that stadium? For me, again, I'm seeing all these poor families. I'm like, dude, I'd be the greatest guy on the planet if I said, guess what? I'm making a statement. I used to dress in $50,000 outfits every week, but I'm taking that $50,000 and I'm donating it to so-and-so charity, Children's Hospital, whatever it is. But I'm making the community that I play for better. The fan base would love you, but instead you're just selfish, Cam, and you aren't that talented. And talked about Mac Jones being an accurate passer. Cam Newton's never been an accurate passer. He's been a guy with freakish ability. The list that you just read, Josh, a second ago, it's bizarre because it goes both ways. It goes into put me on a team where I can just win a Super Bowl ring to just be part of the ride, or it puts me in a situation where I think the guy in front of me is likely to get hurt, like Lamar Jackson, and I have a chance to play. Like he didn't pick one way or another. He didn't pick the avenue of get me the Super Bowl ring, and he didn't pick the avenue of I want to play. He went kind of both ways. So it's a very, very strange list. I can't think of an NFL franchise that would have won him. Do you think Josh Allen wants to be in a quarterback room with this guy? Aaron Rodgers wants to be in a quarterback room with this guy? I mean, dude, he's a joke. He's a freaking joke, man. Not a fan.
You probably wouldn't want to be in a coffee shop with him, let alone a quarterback.
I don't want to be in a coffee shop. I don't trust guys who wear hats with feathers in them. He's out.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're a pimp, right?
Yeah.
Who has a feather in their hat?
I'm trying to think if I know anyone.
Yeah, I mean, Mario nailed it perfectly. Who do you think you are, man? Like Cam Newton, the last time he threw double-digit touchdowns was 2018. 2018. Yeah. Mario was in 7th grade. Hey, Mario, why don't you run through?
Yeah. I was a virgin. Yeah.
Mario, why don't you run through the mock draft that you pulled up?
All right, yeah. So, as per tradition, we have another mock draft. This one's from CBS Sports. This was done by Will.
Smith.
Brinson.
Okay.
Will Brinson.
He's a regular guest on You Better You Bet on the Odyssey Network. So if you haven't heard him, please go check him out. He does a great job with them. And if you're wondering who presents You Better You Bet, who presents it and does a great job on the Odyssey Network is Nick Costos and Ken Barkley. They're the co-hosts, and they're brought to you by BetMGM Sportsbook. So if you're going to bet on BetMGM. So on the mock draft, it's an interesting one. I'll go through just like the top 5 real quick and then some other just keynotes I wanted to bring up to you guys because to me they make no sense. So just first for the top 5, he has Bryce Young going number 1 to the Carolina Panthers. Pick 2 is Will Anderson going to the Houston Texans. Pick 3 is a trade from the Arizona Cardinals to the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans would give up their first pick, obviously, at number 11, their second-round pick, and a fourth-round pick, and they would grab C.J. Stroud. The 4th pick will be Jalen Carter, and 5th is Peter Scrum.
The left tackle.
It's the left tackle from freaking Northwestern. Peter, it's the white dude. You know what I'm saying? The confusing last names. Oh, look, dude, I had a speech impediment. Screw off. Hop off. All right, so that's like the top 5. The thing I really want to sticks out to me right away, and maybe just because this is in my backyard, but it's just very interesting to me. This is back-to-back weeks where we've had mock drafts and the Indianapolis Colts have not taken a QB.
Yeah.
That to me is just very, very strange. This seems like the year where they really need a QB.
You think?
Yeah. And Irsay's one when he needs a QB. He goes and gets his QB, and he's done a damn good job the past 2. So that doesn't really make sense to me. This is also an organization that has drafted QBs in the 2 years ago in a draft when they got the QB out of Texas, Sam Ellinger, who sucks, but still they drafted him. Like, I just don't see them taking this opportunity and missing out on taking a QB. That was just very, very strange to me. So that one's strange to me. I have a lot I want to bring up to you guys. So I'll take that one. We'll start with that. The QB with the Colts, and then Will Levis drops to pick 17
Wow.
and gets drafted by Seattle in this one.
Wow.
So just kind of here, let's go through the thoughts. What do you think of that? So one, the Colts, and just top 5 thoughts. And then 2, the Will Levis, and something smells like it's burning in my apartment. And I swear to God, if we get a fire cooking right now, gentlemen, we're still recording because that's going to go viral.
Dude, that's good stuff. That's
yeah,
hits.
that's good stuff. That's hits. Play the hits.
All right, Dave, you go. What do you think?
All right, number one, I don't think Will Levis falls that far. I think the guy, there's always a fake guy in the draft. You know what I mean? The guy to make everybody think that's the guy you're going to draft. Like, it gets a lot of talk where you're going, man, that's the guy. That's the guy. Man, everybody wants that guy. And then you realize nobody wants that guy. He just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. I don't think it's Will Levis. I think honestly, it's Anthony Richardson from Florida. I think he's that guy this year. I think out of the quarterbacks, everyone's talking about Anthony Richardson. What an athlete. Look what he did in shorts and a T-shirt, and he's throwing the ball 85 yards, and he's right on a dime. I saw Anthony Richardson play at Florida. He stinks. He's not impressive. He's a tremendous athlete. He's not a tremendous quarterback. Okay. So I think he's the fake in this year's draft, in my opinion. I don't think Will Levis is the fake. I think if he's available, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Raiders or Titans take him. As far as Bryce Young, I do think Bryce Young is the better quarterback between Stroud and Young. Everyone's trying to figure out which guy's which. But for me, I would take Young as the guy. I agree with you guys. As you said earlier, Will Anderson's the best player in this draft. I hope he doesn't end up with Arizona Cardinals. I think people end up in the Arizona Cardinals. They go there and their career dies. It's a horrible organization to be in. And unfortunately, Mario, I know you're in Indianapolis, and for the record, Mario is not a Colts fan.
No,
I think the Colts are the worst run organization in all of the NFL. And that's saying a lot because the Raiders have been on that mantle for a long time and pedestal for a long time. And so have the Titans have been bad for a long time as far as rosters go. But I cannot figure out what the Colts are doing because they have talented guys that other players would want, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, and to sit there and not address the quarterback situation. Now, look, I'll just throw the Colts out there because the Colts are in a position to grab somebody of name. And as you said, all the talk is they aren't. So you go, well, they drafted Peyton Manning. Well, they fell into Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? They fell into Peyton Manning. They fell into Andrew Luck. I mean, everybody saw those suck for luck signs. Remember that?
Okay, but it was a big difference. It was a big debate between Luck or RG3. That's what I'll push back on.
Yeah, I never thought so. Maybe because I'm on the West Coast. I never thought so. I thought from everything I thought Andrew Luck, and I know he went to Stanford, but I thought Luck was the best quarterback coming out of college since John Elway. I agreed with all that. Like he was tremendous. Anyway, long story short, there are a lot of NFL teams that are run very poorly, and the Colts right now seem to be at the top of being run the worst.
Yeah. So my biggest takeaway from this mock draft that Mario just went through is it's the most different of any of the other mock drafts that I've seen. A few guys that are up in there, I'm just shocked. I mean, first off, Drew Sanders, I think he's going number 8 in this draft to the Falcons. Drew Sanders is a good football player. Drew Sanders also transferred out of Alabama because he wasn't getting playing time, but yet he's a top 10 pick in this draft. Kind of makes you question who's putting this together. And I might be wrong. Maybe Drew Sanders does go in the top 10, but like I said, he transferred out of Alabama because he wasn't playing. A couple other things is if the Chargers have the option of getting a Bijan Robinson that actually falls to them, I think because in this draft, he's somewhere near the Chargers pick, you have to grab him. Even if Austin Eckler, is going to play this year, we all know Austin Eckler is going to play this year. It's one of those guys we're talking about. If they slip that far, they're that great that you have to draft them. And I feel that way about Jordan Addison too, the receiver. His quarterback coach is with the Chargers. His wide receiver coach is with the Chargers. That's a guy that's a plug and play right there for Justin Herbert for his entire career. I'd like to see that too. And Michael Mayer. I want immediate impact on the offense. That's something that the Chargers need. If any of those 3 guys fall to the Chargers, I think you got to grab them. I think this is one of those drafts where they could slip And Anthony Richardson is that guy where you go, hey, he hit the roof and he can run this fast. I watched him at Florida, dude. He hit the roof a bunch of times, and that was when he's trying to hit guys on out routes. He's just terrible. So Anthony Richardson's one of those guys I would try to stay away from if I was another team. But I'm excited, man. I think we've talked about it for the last 5 shows. The NFL draft is freaking awesome. I can't wait to see who the first quarterback taken is. I always love when it's never like set in stone who you know is going to go number 1. I think Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are pretty close. And then I think there's a pretty big drop off before you get to Will Levis. So I think that's how most teams are looking at it too right now.
I completely agree about the Levis part. I don't trust a QB that has such a big drop off from his kind of breakout year to his next year. That just red flags all over the place. I've said this before in this pod. The SEC is the best ground of how is this guy going to look in the pros. It's just the best because there's just so much professional talent in there. And from 2001 to 2022, he threw for 400 less yards, 5 less touchdown passes, 3 more interceptions. His completion percentage only went down 1%. This one is the funniest one to me. His rushing yards, according to ESPN, went from 376 to negative 107. His rushing touchdowns went from 9 to 2. That is such a big drop-off in development, in taking the next step, in production. That's just red flags all over the place. He gets a lot of love in comparison to Josh Allen, but I just think that's just body type. I don't think he's even close to that level. Not a fan of him. I think he drops. I think him and Anthony Richardson are just both. If you can convince a dumb team to give you a lot to trade up so they can draft them, that's perfect. That's a pancake. That's amazing. But other than that, I would stay away from them. And this mock draft, forgot to mention that Chargers take Jalen Hyatt. I am all for, yes. Dave wrote F yeah in the rundown with it. I'm freaking love that. Will has Hyatt as a 7th ranked prospect in the draft, 1st position rank as a receiver. I personally, I haven't like gone through every freaking wideout, and I can't tell you who I think's the best of all those. I just simply don't know. But I can say I think Hyatt's definitely top 3 in that category. I'm all for Hyatt. I'm all for Mayer. I've mentioned multiple times my position on Robinson. I'm with you on Addison, though. If just that familiarity. If he's in LA, I think that'd be perfect. But with Robinson, can you guys make sense of this for me? Why in the hell do people like have the Lions drafting Robinson? We're like as a 3 running back room with David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, and Robinson. Like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, is this the Minnesota Timberwolves of the NBA? Hey, let's get every big. Let's get Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. Can they play together? No freaking clue. No clue. Let's just see what happens. This is the dumbest thing ever to me. That it makes no freaking sense. I don't care how good your O-line is. You have 3 running backs. They're tier 1 running backs in the same room. It's the dumbest thing ever. It's a waste of a 1st-round pick. Yes, he's an incredible talent, but it's a waste of a pick on a position that's jam-packed. It's stupid. It's like
maybe they're gonna bring back the wishbone.
Yeah, it's just it's stupid, dude. It's stupid.
It's what the Lions do. You know, years ago, about 20 years ago, when Matt Millen was the GM, he drafted a wide receiver in the 1st round every year, and he ended up getting fired for it. You know, I mean, none of them worked out. Drafting a wide receiver is tough to me. To me, it's the toughest position to draft in the NFL because you don't know how exactly it's going to translate. There's so many things that go into it. Number 1, you know, talent-wise. 2 is, of course, the quarterback, the coach, the scheme, everything that you have involved in it. But you see wide receivers that fail all the time in the NFL. I mean, what Josh, you said it a couple weeks ago, the Eagles drafted a guy, in the 1st round a few years ago, is not even in the league anymore. And the Eagles are a Super Bowl team. Goddamn, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. But anyway, so the reason I like Jalen Hyatt, and look, I'm not a University of Tennessee fan at all. It has nothing to do with college. All I know is NFL scouts and GMs say all the time they're looking for quality talent against quality competition. What did Jalen Hyatt do against Alabama last year? 5 touchdowns?
Went off.
He went off. I mean, again, and that's against a defense that has a ton of guys that are NFL talent players. So if the Chargers ended up with Jalen Hyatt, man, I'd be on cloud 9. Bijan Robinson's an incredible talent. Chargers obviously are going to need a running back. This Austin Eckler thing's ugly as hell. But just like Mario and I discussed last week, you don't want to draft a running back in the first round because you don't want to pay that second contract. You don't want to be in a situation where the Dallas Cowboys were with Ezekiel Elliott. So that'd be the only thing. That'd be tough for the Chargers. If he's there, everyone's going, man, he's the best player on the board. What do you do in that situation? And that's one of those where you kind of have to take him because he's right there. But in reality, you're kind of hoping someone else takes him so you aren't stuck in that predicament. But so for the Chargers, man, I honestly believe this team is only a few pieces away. They aren't in a situation where they need 6 guys. They're just a few pieces away from making this work. I love the Kellen Moore signing more and more as the offensive coordinator. I mean, the more I think about it and think about how excited Justin Herbert should be and every skilled player on that offensive side of the ball to go, we got a guy who's innovative that has basically had success with yards and points in the past. Wait till he gets a group with our guys compared to what he had even with the Dallas Cowboys, because I'll tell you, I think the Chargers offensive skilled guys are better than what he had in Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of cool, though. If you got Bijan Robinson, you kind of do what they had with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know. I just like having a guy in the back. If Austin Eckler gets hurt, who are we going to have this next season? Austin Eckler's getting hit more than anybody in the NFL. I don't trust any of the other running backs on the roster. But it's gonna be good. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm curious, man. Because like we said, if Jalen Hyatt's there, you want him too. So I think it's like a win-win situation if you're a Chargers fan.
Let's do a check on Eckler right now. I mean, meaning like, it's been a week, all right, and we all know what's gone on the last few weeks. Eckler's had permission so he could trade the whole deal. Nobody wants him. Nobody will make a trade for him. We talked about collusion before in the past with Lamar Jackson. I don't feel this is a collusion deal on my end. I just feel like the NFL reads NFL running backs, and he's at the age and he has the wear and tear where NFL teams are staying away from him. He's extremely frustrated, but I hope as Charger fans, what we're going to see is Austin Eckler go off like Josh Jacobs did when he told the Raiders, watch this. And you get the most for this guy over this year. And if he ends up, leaving next year, he leaves. But at least you're getting the best of him, because right now he's has clearly said how upset he is. I mean, he's a guy, if you're an employee of the Chargers and he walks in through the door with his coffee in the morning, dude, you don't want to go face to face with Austin Eckler. He's pissed at everybody. I mean, he's going to drive into that parking lot angry. He's upset. He's been disrespected. He's not wrong, but it's a business and it's the NFL. And he feels like I've given everything I had, especially my body, to this organization, and you guys aren't going to reward me for the money that I feel I deserve. He's pissed off. And as a sports fan, good. I hope he proves everybody wrong. The worst thing to happen to him, and I don't wish injury on anybody, God forbid this guy suffers an injury. Hopefully he has a chance to play 17 games to prove to everybody the Chargers made a huge mistake.
How can he prove anybody wrong? What can he possibly do?
What else could he do? You mean like he can't play better?
He scored 20 more touchdowns? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how much better can he be?
No kidding.
Yeah. I think what would prove everyone wrong the most is if he's like 33 and he has 20 touchdowns. That's like if you keep saying I want to prove people, I'll prove people wrong. Like, I don't think anyone's doubting that you're going to do the same production next year, but it's like, in 3 years, are you doing it? And if he is, that's give me whatever drugs. I'm not drugs, probably not drugs, probably not drugs, probably not drugs. Whatever supplements he's on, so I would love to try. Make sure to change that one.
He's a tremendous talent, man. Again, I hope he has a fantastic year. It's the NFL is funny, right? When I say it's a business, and there's that line from the movie North Dallas 40. Every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. Every time you say it's a business, I say it's a game. It's the Austin Eckler deal. I hope the Chargers honestly go into the season going, it's all about wins. It's all about scoring points. It doesn't turn into let's get the ball to somebody else, because every time we give the ball to Eckler to score in the red zone, it's going to cost us money in the end or make us look that much more foolish. I hope it's not one of those. We've seen it before in the NFL. We saw it with Marshawn Lynch, right? I mean, the Seahawks were right there to score a touchdown, but the offensive coordinator said, we're going to make Russell Wilson the star, and it backfired. So I hope the Chargers honestly go about it and say, we're just concerned about wins, points, and red zone success, and don't sit there and kind of push Austin Eckler out.
Speaking of Eckler, let's hit Josh's top 10 most loved list. Look, it's
All
like
right,
close to midnight here. My brain's
yeah,
fried,
it's
dude.
been a long day. All
Yeah.
right, so this is my top 10 most liked players in the NFL. I'm gonna run through it real quick. You want me to go through all of them? You guys talk about it after. You want to talk about each one at a time? How do you guys want to do this?
What do you say, Mario?
Well, let's go by 3. Let's go by 3 because auditory processing. I'm not gonna remember them. I have to write them down too. So let's
All
go
right,
by 3s.
Here you go. All right, number 10, Joe Burrow. He went to LSU. I absolutely hate LSU. Always been a fan of Joe Burrow. I love the underdog story. He got spit on at Ohio State. That's where he's from, Ohio. Goes down to LSU. Never been to LSU. Didn't even know that they were Cajun down there. Goes down there, balls out, wins a national championship. Big fan of Joe Burrow, and he just goes about his business. And for some reason, he's cool. Doesn't talk, which makes him actually really cool.
Mm.
So I actually like that too. All right, number 9, Lamar Jackson. He won the Heisman, but he's also an underdog because people thought he should change his position. So I've always liked how Lamar Jackson went about his business. Seems like he's been a big team guy up until this last situation with the injuries, sitting out. But I'm on his side. If my contract wasn't settled and I wasn't 100%, I'm not going to play either. So Lamar Jackson, I've always been a big fan of his, and he's been doubted a lot in his early career. Number 8, somebody that I know, we're Instagram friends. He's a good guy, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah Fitzpatrick is. Do you not like Minkah Fitzpatrick?
No,
What do you not
I
like
didn't see it
about him?
coming. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. Keep going. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it
Okay.
coming.
It's
That's
a personal thing. He's a good dude, and he's a baller. He's the most freakish player I've ever seen in person. When I was at Alabama, he was just great at everything, and he's really freaking smart, and he's a really nice guy. So Minkah Fitzpatrick, number 8, and that's 3 guys. What do you guys think so far?
All right. I'll go first, Mario, if you don't mind. So
No, you go off.
it's funny. I have a top 10 favorite list also that I'm just looking at, comparing mine to Josh's, just because you guys made me do the ones I hate the most. But Minkah is on mine, Josh. I'm a huge Minkah fan, and he's a good dude. He's a really good guy. One of the things about Minkah that I found fascinating was when you go to the University of Alabama, they make you take a test to see, kind of like what is it, like a personality test, Josh, kind of a deal. Anyway, out of all the players in the history of Alabama while Nick Saban's been there, Minkah Fitzpatrick matched Nick Saban more than any player that's ever been at that school. Like his mindset. And when Josh was there, he was my favorite player on the team. And then I've had a chance, after Chargers Steelers games to talk to him, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan right there. Lamar Jackson. I know what I think about Lamar Jackson all the time because there's so many good things about him. And again, being doubted the entire time, whether it was Louisville where he played. Could he have success in the NFL? Is a weird throwing motion. MVP has always been good. Obviously, this whole thing with the contract has been a disaster to the point where he wasn't playing last year. I always think of the Jay-Z line, right? I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. I mean, that's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but I'm a fan as well. So your top 3, Ben. I'm in. I like your 3.
I like the 3. Burrow at 10's good. Like Burrow's everyone's favorite because he's just like calm, cool, cocky, collective. I like that a lot. Lamar Jackson, when he did the shades on the sideline, I can't remember what team he was just freaking clowning on, but that was like one of the things that just set him over top for me. Fun to watch. Something interesting to keep an eye out for. One of the only QBs that actually wears his mouth guard, and it's a different type of mouth guard, and like it's the one that like covers your lips. Little thing to watch. I didn't think that'd be possible. Like every time I watch it, maybe if I'm off a little bit of something, I always sit there and I go, that's a challenge that man's fighting every play that he chooses to. So mentally, he's probably stronger than a lot of other people. And then Fitzpatrick, I've heard Dave tell that story at least 10 times, and I think it's always a cool story. So every time you kind of got me hook, line, and sinker. So I like the 3 so far.
Okay, cool. Thank you for approving my top 10, 9, and 8.
Yeah.
All right, number 7, and you guys are going to say this guy's way too low on the list, and I have my reasons, okay? Number 7 is Justin Herbert. The reason that he's number 7 and not in the top 3 is it does irk me a little bit that he thinks it's funny to, like, not talk to the media and, like, shy away from the mic. Like, you're the quarterback of the team. Like, how long? It's not cute, dude, when you're 30 years old and you won't go to the mic. It kind of bothers me. Eventually, I want him to kind of stand up for himself a little bit when he says, I'm sticking with Brandon Staley after last season. I don't want to say I don't want Brandon Staley, but you don't have to say that either. So that kind of bothered me a little bit. With that being said, he's a great quarterback. He's the most freakish quarterback the Chargers have ever had. And I think he's the best thrower of the football in the NFL. Throws a great spiral. It just looks cool when he throws the ball. And he's my number 7. Number 6, I also know this person. Also a good dude, Derrick Henry. My favorite Alabama football player in the last 10 years because he was a freak. The dude's taller than me, weighs more than his offensive lineman at Alabama. Absolute freak. He's actually runs like a 4.4. People don't realize that he's that fast. And he's a good guy. And he plays for the Titans. I live in Nashville, so I've always been a big fan of Derrick Henry. And then number 5 is Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler was my favorite player on the Chargers last season. He's getting the crap beaten out of him every single game up until this negotiation thing. He didn't have a blemish to his name talking bad about the Chargers or anything. So I've always been a big fan of Austin Eckler's. And he's really smart. He helps out kids, has his own foundation, does a lot of things off the field. So I like that too about him. So there's 3 more people.
Like it
What you
all.
guys got? All right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What?
Derrick Henry's a really good player, but like it's not pushing the needle for me. I'll just say that he doesn't push the needle.
You live in
But he's a pretty
Indianapolis.
good player. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like he's whipped it out and slapped Indy in the face a couple times. You know, like he's just really, he's really done his damage. To the 317.
You know, I like Derrick
Okay.
Henry because the guy works
Yeah.
out nonstop. I mean, he could have easily said, "Man, I'm gonna take time off." That guy loves to work out. I'm a Derrick Henry fan for that reason. That as a sports fan, again, are you doing everything you can to be in optimum shape and help our team win on Sunday? And to me, Derrick Henry does that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna go 4, 3, and 2. All right, number 4, last person on this list that I actually know. Okay, underdog story, great dude, Jalen Hurts. Okay, I was there at Alabama when he came in at 17 years old, and people said, "Why the hell did we recruit this guy? He was barely a 4-star." And he took his team to the Super Bowl this year. You got to love that. He left Alabama to go to Oklahoma. We all know the story. Fights back, doesn't talk crap behind people's backs. That actually is really hard to do, believe it or not, when the cameras are in your face all the time. Big fan of Jalen. And we're friends, and I'm proud to call him a friend because even though he's younger than me, I look up to him because he does a lot of things right. And he's a really good guy. All right, number 3. Most freakish player of our generation. I think most people would agree. Aaron Donald. I just love watching that guy play football. Physically, it does not make any sense looking at him. He's actually smaller than every person he goes up against and whoops their ass.
Yeah,
The guy takes on more triple teams than Caitlin Clark. He's an absolute beast. I love watching.
I don't know which way
I
you're
love
going
watching
with
it.
that.
Yeah, I know, me either.
same.
That was a game time decision. Yeah. Aaron Donald is an absolute freak. He plays, up the street from where my parents are and where I grew up. So I love that Aaron Donald plays in Southern California, and I've always been a big fan of his. Number 2, just because I think this guy's extremely funny. I listen to his podcast all the time. It's Taylor Lewan. He's actually not on a team right now because the Titans released him, but Taylor Lewan is super freaking funny, and I think he's actually smarter as time gone on. I used to think he wasn't very smart with some of the things he said on the podcast, but now I think he's actually matured a lot, and I'm a big fan of his. And then I know I'm supposed to go 3 at a time. I'm actually just going to name my number 1 person.
Wait,
My
can we guess?
favorite
Can we guess?
Charger.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Let's. Oh,
I think I gave it away, but go. Yeah.
Oh, you did? You think you gave
Yeah.
it away?
I think he gave it away. I
right.
think I know who it is.
Go ahead, say
Okay.
it.
Joey
I have no
Bosa.
idea.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
when he said the last person on the list that I'm friends with, I thought for sure he was about to say Travis Kelce, and he didn't say Travis Kelce. So I was like, all right, well, if Jalen's the last one he's friends with on the list, I'm going, okay, who's the guy? So Kelce didn't make it. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go. I'm
Can't play
lost.
cheap
I'm
on
gonna go
here.
like Jalen Waddle. I don't know.
Keenan Allen.
Okay.
He's already said Charger. It's Keenan Allen.
Oh, you said Charger?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Shoot, I
Context
didn't
clues.
catch it.
All right. What do you got, Dave? Chargers.
Derwin James.
Derwin
Oh!
James. I got the jersey. Only
Yeah, he
Charger
has the
jersey I've
jersey.
bought in since LT.
How did I not
Um,
know that?
Okay, so Derwin James. Let's get into this real quick. Derwin James is the best Chargers defensive player since Junior Seau. Debate me on that all day long. I love watching Derwin James. Eric Weddle was my favorite Charger for a long time on the defensive side of the ball. Eric Weddle's phenomenal. Derwin James on a different level from a freakish standpoint, physically, not even on the same level as Eric Weddle. I love watching Derwin James play football. I've never seen a guy be around the ball so much that's on my team. You see it with other teams, but Derwin James does it for our team. And I love watching Derwin James play football. I never get tired of it. All right, what do you guys think?
I'll start right now with the Derwin James thing. Derwin James is the best football player I've ever seen that you need to watch in person, meaning that you don't understand how good Derwin James is on the TV. When you watch Derwin James in person, you would have sworn he was in the offensive huddle. It is insane that he knows where to be. And he's just extremely smart. He knows what to expect. He makes the plays. He could easily move, and he's not a big dude. He's not as big as you think, but he could play linebacker in the NFL. Like he's a freak, man. He is a freak. And I sit there and I've watched NFL games in person for 30 years. And that's not an exaggeration. Literally until the last few years, I went to every Charger game for 30 years. And man, I'm telling you, Derwin James is the most impressive football player I've ever seen. He's just incredible how smart he is. Just that he knows where to be. It just, I mean, when I'm in the press box, everybody looks at each other and go, "How the hell did he know?" That's how shocked we are. And we've seen him. Josh and I were there a couple of years ago. We saw him shut down Travis Kelce. Nobody shuts down Travis Kelce. He was absolutely ridiculous to watch. I'm a huge fan.
I completely agree. Flies around the football, just flies on the field. So fun to watch. Stops Kelce, which I'm so for because I think Kelce's the most annoying person in the NFL. If we did a hated list, he's high. Be minus 500 at 1. I agree with that a lot. The one I'm gonna push back on, I would put Hurts. I would put Hurts higher than Donald. Donald's sick. Donald's so fun to watch and everything, but like Donald, sometimes I'm like, dude, can you get like a little more trash talky or like give me a little antic? I look for the trash. I like the trash talking a little bit. Taylor Lewan's a good one, by the way. Remember when he did the was it Josh Norman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing of all time. The corner and alignment going at it. That was the best. Do you remember that?
When
Dave?
he flipped off
Yeah,
the camera? Dude, when Taylor Lewan flipped off the camera when he was on to the sky cam? Dude, it's so funny.
So funny.
Dave listens to that podcast too. It's a good podcast.
It's a good
podcast.
podcast. I'm impressed. I tell you what, I'm a huge Aaron Donald fan also. I mean, it's easy to say, but you're right. I don't think there's a guy who's a tougher job in the NFL week in and week out than Aaron Donald. I mean, it's not like talk about saying, man, I'm not feeling it today. You don't have a choice. You know, I mean, it is going to be a tough road with Aaron Donald. Also, I think, you know, we're joking around about our list, about our top 10 biggest athletes in Los Angeles, meaning famous wise or who, you know, would qualify. Aaron Donald, I think would right up there as maybe one of the coolest guys. If you could change and say you're Aaron Donald for a day, to see what it's like just to walk into a restaurant, walk anywhere. I mean, dude, there's not a guy in that restaurant that thinks I could take that guy. You know,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, dude, I walk down the street and I'm like, dude, I could bench press this goddamn building. Like nobody wants to mess with me because they see what I've done on Sundays. He is one of those guys I look up to. I'm not kidding. After the Rams won the Super Bowl, I literally was looking for an Aaron Donald jersey. I was like, this guy is awesome. Yeah, I'm a huge fan, man. Just a huge fan. I remember when he came out in the draft, and I don't remember which guy said it, but he said it during the draft. He goes, "This guy's the best player in the draft," and he wasn't taken number 1. But you know, Pittsburgh wasn't on TV a lot, and then you're like, sure enough, man, Aaron Donald is just a freak of nature, and you can put him right there for me with like Reggie White and all those guys who are in the Hall of Fame on the defensive side of the ball to go, that guy is one of a kind. I'm never going to see anybody like this guy again.
Do you think you'd get in more fights if you looked like Aaron Donald or less fights?
I've come a long way, Mario. I've come a long way. Josh,
but you guys, it's hard for you guys. You guys are like 6'4". So
no,
like you guys are
like Josh like 6'6". I'm 6'3". But I'm like
dude,
230.
Kiss my freaking ass.
Yeah.
Both of you. Kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Dude, you realize before last season, Aaron Donald finished in the top 5 for Defensive Player of the Year 7 years in a row as a nose tackle.
Yeah, that's
Like,
insane.
how is that?
That's insane.
Do you
That's
remember that Aaron Donald didn't play in the preseason or do anything with the team? Just showed up for game one and started dominating and then won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't happen. That's not a thing
No.
that people do.
No.
I just love watching
it
that
wa-
guy play, dude.
Yeah, if it was
Yeah.
Jerry Tillery would have done it. Yeah,
Yeah. It
You
is
know?
cool when he did that right away.
yeah.
That
Dude,
and
he
the
won-
title. I don't know why that was like. I
When
thought
you
that
go
was sick.
back and watch those last two plays in the Super Bowl, he won the game for the Rams. I mean, he just said, "Forget
He
it, it's
did.
my time." You know, how many
Yeah.
guys say, "This is my time. Watch this. This is what I'm about. I'm gonna take this moment right now."
Yeah.
That was
As a nose
I-
tackle. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
I'm
the most
so
random
impressed I
position to
can't-
just take over a game.
He made it cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, there aren't too many guys where you go, man. I'm crazy impressed. I'm always impressed watching Aaron Donald plays. When that guy retires, I'll be bummed out just because I like watching him play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is he the
that's,
greatest of all
I-
time at his position?
Not even close. Not even
agree.
close. It's funny. My dad used to always talk about Dick Butkus. I never saw Dick Butkus play, but I saw the highlights. And Dick Butkus was so far and above everyone else at linebacker at that time. Then you see a freak like Lawrence Taylor, who just was what the hell? The guy's coked out of his mind, looked like he never worked out, and then would get to the quarterback. And then Reggie White was the strongest guy I've ever seen in my life on the defensive side of the ball. And then so for me, the guys that stand out when you watch the NFL over its 80 years, it's Aaron Donald, Reggie White, Dick Butkus, and Lawrence Taylor. And then like Ronnie Lott was a freak. You know what I mean? There's certain guys you just go, man, there's never been anybody like that guy. Ronnie Lott cut his freaking finger off, just to keep playing football.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy stuff.
Yeah. All right. I know this show's ran super long. One last question. Is he the only player in the NFL that is the greatest ever at his position for anybody in any position? He's the only guy, right, in the NFL today. You could say he's the greatest player at his position of all time.
Probably
Yeah, he is.
Kelsey.
No other guys.
What do you say,
Ooh.
Kelsey? Is Kelsey already?
can make
is he
a
better
strong-
than- Is he already better than
Over
Gronk?
Gronkowski.
You can make a strong argument for it. Very strong one.
Ooh, that's a great debate.
You know,
Yeah.
You know what's funny, man? I mean, I love doing the position by position deal. There's certain guys you see in person, and you go, in my lifetime, where I go, wow, I didn't pick that up on TV. There was a game, I think Josh was with me. We saw the Patriots take on the Chargers. It was like a Sunday night game or a Monday night game, Josh. And
Yep.
I was shocked at how fast Rob Gronkowski was. Not only was he, huge, but he was so fast. You're like, whoa, I didn't notice that. I could say the same thing in basketball. People don't realize, as great as Michael Jordan was always like the fastest guy on the court. It was always surprising. And then it went and saw LeBron James last year against the Celtics, and you're watching Jason Tatum just light it up in the first quarter, and then you're going, LeBron's the best player on the court. Like it was so weird to see how good LeBron is, and to forget the age, but how fast he was, right? I mean, he was the fastest, most athletic guy at age 38 years old. And you just you shake your head and go, man, it's amazing. Certain athletes just you just can't believe it. And people have no idea, by the way, unless you're around professional athletes all the time, on how the difference of a guy that was great in high school or college compared to a guy that's a pro. Do you remember Mario, you're young, but do you remember Natron Means, the running back for the Chargers?
No.
He was on the team. He was on the team before even you were born. Super Bowl when the Chargers made the run. Okay, so Natron Means is no joke, like 5'9". All right, and University of North Carolina guy. Looked like he was always out of shape. They always had the Natron Means business stuff going on. I played in a celebrity basketball game with Natron Means, and a guy was shooting a free throw, and he got the rebound, and dude, he jumped up underneath the rim and jumped up, two-hand dunked it right in front of my face. And I went, what in the hell just happened? Like, how did, you know what I mean? This 5'9" just two-hand dunked. And it was shocking to see. But Josh and I were playing a few years ago in a gym by my house, and Marcellus Wiley, the left tackle for the Chargers, was on the
Don't
court.
say a few years ago like I was a grown man when this happened.
No, you weren't. But you were what, in middle school? I mean, you were still over 6
That's
feet
middle
tall.
school.
You're like
That's
at least
dude, a few's 2 to 3.
Well, Josh was still tall. Like Josh was like 6'3", 6'4", all right, in like 7th, 8th
I was
grade.
a child.
And
That's like that. It's like 10 years.
Listen to this, Mario. Marcellus Wiley drives down the
Marcus
court.
McNeil. It wasn't Marcellus Wiley.
Oh, sorry, Marcellus Wiley. Forget Marcellus Wiley. Marcus McNeil, the left tackle. God dang, I think I got to get this right. He jumped over Josh's head, dude, like Vince Carter in the Olympics, and dunked on him. And you're like, what in
He
the
did.
hell just
He
happened?
did do that.
He did, dude.
Yeah.
6'7",
Yeah.
sacked him up. Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy.
Oh my god.
Sack lunch.
There was
Yeah.
a guy that
Sack lunch.
he played at the high school that was in our sectional, and he was a Division I tackle. I think he played in the NFL for a little bit. I can't remember his name, but he was so wide because he was a tackle. Do you remember watching '81 Street Ball and it was the Escalade?
Yeah.
Dude, it
Yeah.
looked like that, and he would drop an easy 40 and 20 on you quick. Dude, but he could have he was walking up the floor, but as soon as he got that ball, dude, he was so smooth with it, and he was so fun to watch. He had two other guys on there that went to Purdue, Tyrone Johnson, I believe, and I can't remember his brother's name, but it was North Central High School. I don't know why I'm shouting them out, but it was North Central High School, and it was the craziest thing just to see how quick a guy that size can move. But it's truly
Night and day.
insane. Yeah. Then
Night-
and then people say that about the Bolt City crew. You know, it's like how quick these guys can move on a field and in a pod. It's insane. It's insane. If we did a Odyssey podcast basketball game, I think we'd clean house.
Oh, for
Low-key.
sure.
I'd be the enforcer. Josh can shoot, man. I know Josh is a good shooter. Josh can play basketball, man. My
Dude,
shooting days are over. I'd just be the guy. I'd be the enforcer underneath.
This is gonna sound like exaggeration, but I mean it fully. We lowered that rim to 9 foot. I swear to God to you, I'm Michael Jordan, bro. I swear to God to you, if something happens to my shot or I can start hitting. No idea why. But you give me the low
That's
post on a
pretty
9 foot
funny.
goal, see it, dude. You're getting nuts in the face. Something's happening.
That's
all I got for tonight.
That's too funny. All right, we'll be back next week again. Do I get a chance to do my list next week since I got the hated
Yes.
list?
Yeah, sure, Buttercup.
All right, I just want to make sure. I chose hate a couple weeks ago and I took a beating for it, so I want to be able to sit there and share my top 10 of people that actually do like in this league. There you go. All right, again, we went a little bit long, man. Again, thanks for listening. This is the Bolt City podcast, courtesy of Odyssey. Again, Josh Pele, Mario Heron. I'm Dave Pele. Have a good night, everybody.